this thing. Can you hear me? I see that I've been disconnected.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I wanted to just bring a few points of the retrospective that I think they were quite connected with Softgov. So we can take a moment after to go through them. But also something big that came up was mental health and how people were feeling, and also Doocracy and understanding everything. So I thought if they're somehow interconnected, or we're feeling the sense of overwhelmness, maybe it's harder to take action on things and to identify like what is our path of most excitement and want to do things towards that. So, hi Nate.
Hello.
So I just wanted to propose a little, like, very quick meditation, just a breath work for us to ground, and then share from a more calm place, and then we get into the agenda. So if you feel comfortable, you can um, close your eyes and take a deep breath. And as you're sitting in the chair, or if you're standing, uh, put your feet in the ground. If you can be barefoot, even better. And just pay attention to your body. Feel the sole of your feet in the floor, your ankles, your legs, your knees, thighs, hips. Feel how the hips support your whole column, the whole upper part of your body. Feel your stomach, your chest, your shoulders. Send some air to your shoulders. Let them expand as you breathe in. Then feel all of this air going down to your arms and your hands. Move your fingers a little bit. Now bring the breath to your throat. Feel how it passes through, in and out. Perceive your face. See if you can picture your face with your eyes closed. Now that your body is present, think of a ball of light that is in your belly. And this ball of light is kind of funny. Like, it moves, it expands, and it contracts, and it shakes a little bit, and it almost makes you giggle from inside. And this ball of light wants to go everywhere in your body. Let it go where it wants to go for a few seconds. Now, independent of where this ball is, send it to your throat. Let it rest there. Take one more breath. You can open your eyes. And we can have a quick round of sharing. Imagine that this ball of light is your highest excitement. It's something that makes you giggle from inside, and it's something that it makes you feel awake and energized and good. And then you can share what is this ball of light for you in this moment. What is making you feel awake and energized, and anything else that you want to share. How are you feeling? I can start. For me, the ball of light felt like the ocean. I'm even like shaking a little bit because I went to a boat this morning. So I'm still like feeling it in me in the sun and like moving my body. I'm feeling the body wanting to be like active a lot. And this has been bringing excitement to me and even wanting to try to do more like body things that are related to work somehow. Like, how can we bring more these concepts that we've been looking into the body and into action and presence? And in general, uh, I'm feeling focused now, but I was feeling quite hard to focus earlier. So this also helped me to ground. And I'm feeling grateful and content to be here because I haven't been to this calls in a couple of weeks. And I'll pass to 2 weeks to go next.
Thank you, Livy. So just the question is like, what does the ball of light represent, right, for each of us?
Yeah, what feels excited and alive in your body, and if you felt like, what did you feel with the ball of light, and if there's anything else you want to share.
Um, I'm still very excited and moved by the last weekend with the Taoist in Mexico City, and I immediately, like as soon as you said, like take the ball of light to the throat, um, it felt like a lot of awareness of like the importance of um, getting like educated about like so much stuff, because it's like I I realize that there are still like the whole thing, like the whole Taoist thing, like brought a mix of like amazing things and some other like stuff that is like on a darker side, and just like the balance of it makes me like just want to be like more like prepared for this kind of stuff, because I was expecting like mostly like really like good things, but everything is like a balance. And I guess the light itself represented some kind of uh, like voice and opportunity, the opportunities that we all have to share, and just awareness about the importance of always try like the like in a way that like the best you can, so that uh, this balance can always be like for a greater good, instead of like getting outbalanced by a more negative side of things. Um, yeah, I'll pass it to uh, Cam.
Thank you, Chewy. So there's quite a lot going on around me at the moment. So taking a few minutes just to breathe and do some visualization just felt very calming. But I can't add more than that because I came out of it and there's still a lot going around me. And I like immediately snapped back into the things that just are happening tangential to this call. So I know that's not the greatest answer, and it's certainly not the most spiritual. So I'll pass to Manu because he usually has something very deep and inspirational to share.
There's no right answer.
Oh wow, on the spot. You tell. I actually came after the meditation, but I have done this meditations before. Um, so I'd say for right now, um,
If you haven't done the meditation, you can also share what is bringing you excitement.
okay, yeah, sure. What is bringing me excitement is all the positive feedback that I got from the conference and all the people that told me one on one that they enjoyed the talk, that they were inspired, that it was something that was needed within the space, and that they hadn't heard anyone. Um, to give some context, I did it on token engineering as a social movement. I know Tam wrote a small medium article about that, so I did also use that to fuel part of the thoughts that I went over in the conference, and it really moved me that a lot of people admire what I do. Uh, that is something that for sure at the times that I'm feeling down or blue or that I feel that this is just such a long walk and I might not even walk the road that I'm paving. That is a constant worry. It those moments where people tell you that you know you're doing a good job, you're great, I admire you, like you inspire me to do this, I want to work with you, like I want to do something with you, please teach me, you inspire me, you're my guide, like all the compliments that I received, I'm using them to as fuel to keep going. I don't want to take a break, I want to use it as inertia. I want to finish with some tasks that have been on my list for a long while. But being that as it may, I like that this was a meditation because today also I started meditating again. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say other than thank you Levy for introducing these type of practices because I do feel like spirituality, even when it is secular spirituality, is a much needed thing with culture. And I will pass it to, I believe Nate has not gone yet.
Thanks, Manu. Yeah. So, thank you for that. That was really nice, actually. I was like all tense and stuff this morning for no reason, and that kind of brought me back down to earth a little bit. So, but things that excite me, and of course, is just I don't know. Recently, it's just been my wife. Just watching her going through pregnancies has been so amazing and so scary and so beautiful, and yeah, it just kind of keeps me, engaged and excited and nervous, but alive. It's one of those just beautiful things that I haven't had a chance to experience before, and it's been really cool to see her go through this journey. And so that's kind of where my mind's been at lately. So thank you for that. And I'll pass it over to Inti.
Hey, thanks. Congrats, by the way. Well, I've been going through some changes lately. Some were better than others, but I mostly feel like I kind of lose control over what happens over time or whatever. And for me, it felt like time just stopped, which I sort of needed. Um, I didn't have to worry about anything particularly, which was pretty great actually. Um, and I don't know, overall, anyways, I feel like pretty grateful for life lately, especially uh, because even though with I guess its problems and all that comes with life, everything sort of like I don't even know how to say that, but it just feels great to be alive. I guess that's all I can say. And I'll pass it on to Juanca.
Thanks. Yeah, I was a little bit distracted during the meditation. I love doing that, but I couldn't because, yeah, I was distracted here. But I will then answer the second question of what brings me excitement. And I like to fix broken things. Like, I don't know why that gives me. I can be hours and hours and hours. If you give me something broken and tell me like, hey, fix it, I will try to fix it with duct tape, with super glue, with 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 um with nails, with whatever I have in my hands. But yeah, that's something that I like. And I'll pass to Chuy. You went, right? Or I was the last one?
Teresa? No, I passed to Teresa.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you all. It's actually my first call here in Softgov. So I actually didn't need a medication, but I'm really excited just to like be here. I'm excited about like balancing my life lately to like be more able to learn about Web3, about DAOs, about collaborating in DAOs, and just balancing it out with my life, with my work, with my daughter, and everything. And I'm just like very excited because I was able to be in the Dallas in Mexico City. So it was like a huge motivation for me to like start like participating more in Dallas. So that's basically all. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Zep, do you want to go next? Cool. Thank you, everybody. So, yeah, moving on to some of our retrospective actions to improve. And welcome, Teresa, to your first call of SoftGov. So here we've been working with the culture of the TUC. That includes governance and mostly implementing Ostrom's principles. So there's this writer, Eleanor Ostrom, that she has some principles to how we can govern the commons collectively and mostly non-hierarchically. So that's what we've been doing in SoftGov. And something that has been coming up a lot is how how can we help people to exercise Doocracy? So when you join the TC and you want to do something, how can you do things, and how can you feel empowered to do so as soon as you join? And what are the steps for that to happen? And I wanted to hear some of your thoughts, Nate, because I know you talked a lot about like how can we promote this in the beginning of each call and bring some, and how could advice process help on this? So if you want to share what you've been thinking, working on.
Yeah, I think that just thinking about ways to provide people something easy to reference when it comes to making decisions, whether you're an individual or a group. I think that's really hard, because I do think a lot of people have this hesitation of, I need to get permission from somebody, especially if you're new. I at least had that experience. When I first joined the TEC, I probably for months and months and months, I was like, I would like to execute on this, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get yelled at, or if I'm gonna, people are going to be upset with me. Am I just wasting my time? And so those are some obstacles that I think need to be overcome. And I'm not sure exactly how to go about doing it outside of just educating people on that agency that they have over the work that's being done, and how to kind of engage with others around them, to kind of get that reassurance that what they're doing is not, fruitless or a waste of energy. And so the only way I can think of is just by education, and that means constantly talking about it, constantly engaging with people, and making it embedded within our culture. But outside of that, yeah, I'm open for ideas and working on this. So
I'm curious if anyone felt that also. Did anyone feel that? Like, oh, if I just start doing things, I'm gonna be yelled at.
Not me. Like for me, it was just the exact opposite. It was just like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, and I just tag me on this, and that's how I came up, and yeah.
That's interesting. So it's two very different experiences. What did you feel like? Did you feel like there was any block for your participation, if that wasn't one?
Are you asking me, Livy?
Mm-hmm.
No, I felt that it was a very open community, and that they were looking for initiative. And even by asking other people to lead me, I would sense that they would be too busy leading themselves. And so I took that as validation to, in a way, develop initiative congruently with the empathy of the crowd, in a way. So I'm still doing that in a way. I'm still trying to align both what I feel will be valuable with what the collective is deeming valuable at any given time.
And Nate, for you, when you had that feeling, what was something that helped you to be more confident?
Honestly, it's just more knowledge about kind of the bigger picture things, because when you start contributing, I think you have a very small understanding of a small part of a much larger organization, if you will. And so wanting to do something, take the initiative and do something or execute on a piece of work, you lack context. And so I think with this kind of like wanting people to have their own agency, I think there's the fear of like not sure if people will agree with what you're doing or accept what you're doing. And then there's the other element of like, do I have the core competencies to execute on this type of a task? Do I understand that's the bigger picture of what's going on, and am I just duplicating the efforts of others? And so I think having those questions answered are a big part of what we try to accomplish with the advice process. Um, uh, but without knowledge of that advice process or knowledge of the people around you in the context of what they're working on, it's very hard to keep moving forward. And so that was a big part of it. So even if I did want to execute on a piece of work, I had to constantly ask myself, do I have the competency to do this? Do I have enough knowledge to execute on this? Do I have the tools to do this? And so that's those are all big obstacles as well, I think, to participation.
Does anyone has different thoughts or experiences around this?
Have any of you heard of? Go ahead. Any of you heard of the cult of done? It's if you look up cult of done, it's a Medium post about this manifesto of getting things done. You know, I'll include the link in the. I'm not advocating for this. I'm simply saying that I do wonder about this concept of doocracy. You know, like what does that even mean? What is it? You know, I don't know. I'm not an ant. None of us are ants. So like I think of the done not done thing in the once a future king. You know, the King Arthur mythology. You know, so you know that's a little odd to me. So you know. I also think of doing without doership. You know, so is that included in here? Is this a what is a duocracy exactly, and why is it that we're targeting it? Who decided that was a good idea, a duocracy over a sociocracy over a, I just wondering this question. So maybe I missed the point because I showed up late, but I'm sorry about that if that's true.
But could you what is your experience without conceptualizing it?
Yeah, I yeah, I came in and, I'm not a token engineer, but I found a group that was open to these sort of larger ideas. And so I wanted to be able to talk about those larger ideas. And I found a place where I could do it and people who I could do it with. I found people with complexity tolerance. I found people with, larger mindsets. So that's been my experience. And that's what I've been doing the time that I've been here. I will say that, you know, giving yourself permission like Manu did and sort of holding back and giving yourself permission like Nate did, are two polarities. I think I'm somewhere in the middle, where I kind of felt my way through the whole process. So is that what you're asking? Just what my personal experience was of the token engineering commons
Yeah, I
when I first
think
got here?
yeah, so from like what I hear of what you're saying is that the thing you wanted to do was to talk, and you found no or little resistance to the things you wanted to talk, so you accomplished like somehow doing what brought you excitement and what you wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, the point of it wasn't the doing. The point was the community and the people. I discovered that I could contribute something, right? It wasn't that I, had difficulty orienting myself on the doing of the thing.
I have another thing to say, and also explaining how retroactive payments or bounties work, because sometimes people they expect be assigned to a bounty or to receive a reward before starting to do something. But I also think that in a bureaucracy, it's important first to create some value and then um, to be rewarded by that value creation. So yeah, that's also some of the code switches that we may face when passing from a traditional organization to a DAO.
The other part was I just recognized the inherent value in doing a cultural build, and that is the primary thing which is interesting to me is the cultural build. So the fact that that was what was going on, it was like, well, you know, if I'm going to do anything, it's going to be that. So I guess that's maybe, you know, what I would be wanting to do and have continued to do.
Yeah, thank you. And Juanca, to your point, do you think, are you saying that the reward, the way our reward system works, blocks people from participating at first?
Know that it blocks them, but more that it's always good to have awareness, like to know that also to let people know that through the praise and the reward system rewarding, but also that retroactive and that they are mostly from proof of work. It's like for doing something and for creating value and not like before.
Does anyone else that haven't spoken yet wants to share about this topic, or should we move?
Well, I'll love to share.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah, go ahead, Zep. You wanted to talk for.
I'll go afterwards.
Do you think there was something in particular that helped you to feel that way? Yeah, maybe intimacy also helps to create this feeling of safety, like creating smaller groups for people to get things to do. And do you wanted to also say something?
Yeah. I wanted to Hanka's point. I think compensation and opportunities are a point of friction for DAOs overall, not necessarily just the TDC. Um, I've been talking about this to with some friends actually, and it's like, okay, they may feel encouraged to do, but especially if you're trying to make the move from traditional industries to the DAO space, it's sort of weird or it's complicated to get your head around as to, okay, I can do, but how do I sense the opportunities in the community? How do I know I'm going to, make a living out of it, for example? Just like oftentimes opportunities are always there, but in a lot of communities you have to spend a lot of time in meetings, reading documents or whatever, just get a sense of what you could potentially do and then see if you can do it. Yeah.
Hello.
I have a question about that when
You know,
it's
like
a good time.
well, just as says, for example, like in my case, Manuel like did an onboarding session with me. It was like super helpful because he helped me like see which where my profile was like good to be placed in. But like to be quite honest, I feel quite lost because of course like I haven't participated in the other DAO before. So like it would be great, for example, to have a document, a written document where all the onboarding guy was, and maybe to have like a little section with different tasks needed and that newcomers could do, just like a little like forum post or something, like hey, if you're new to like tech, you could do these things that are needed right away, and just like to specify there's for people who are like onboarding. That'll be great, just like for example when you have like that first approach and you do something for the community, it's easier to feel more comfortable afterwards doing other things and raising your hand.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's something we've been like dreaming about for a long time, but it has been more difficult than we thought, right? Tam, do you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, we've given there's a few different ways we were trying to think about doing it, and the one way we tried was creating issues that first time contributors could just pick up on the Zen Hub board, and have been met with moderate success, but not real success there. And another way that Communitas is looking at doing it is trying to create a sort of series of first things somebody new could do in the TEC. But it's exactly right, Teresa, the kind of thing that I think that would help a lot. And I guess I just want to maybe express some thoughts I had about this too. I really wanted to hear everyone else. And since I'm not a newcomer to the TEC, I think about when I join a new community, and I've joined other Discords and other places in Web3 and even places in the physical world. And my experience is just to there's few things about this idea of taking initiative, intrinsic motivation, just seeing something that needs to be done and doing it, in volunteer organizations that I work with, or in, not necessarily asking for permission, but just saying, this thing needs to be done. I'm capable of doing it. I'm just going to do it. And I think that that's maybe the ethos that we are trying to espouse. And one of the things that, I notice when, we have, time is really the only is the most precious resource, right? It's finite, and we have, what is it, 4,000 weeks is all we have, is the saying. So how we spend that time ends up really mattering to us. So I often see there's lots of things I could do for a community, but will my contribution matter? Will it bring more value? Will it be appreciated? Will it be criticized? Or will it cause friction, or then some sort of like, will I have to justify why it was done? So I feel like when I decide how to apply my time and efforts in a new community, it really comes down to those questions for me. So I know this isn't exactly the question for the TEC, but those are the things that I find myself balancing before I do work in a new community, especially if it's sort of something that I want to just contribute as a contributor. So maybe looking at this also from the perspective of like, how can we, how can the TEC help create the you know, what's like the word I'm looking for is like some sort of signposts about or guardrails around, how to contribute meaningfully and valuably, and taking some of the onus off the individual for figuring that out themselves, but creating pieces of work or some kind of guidance on the kind of work that is useful for each working group, and allowing then community members to sort of to match against those. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Durgadas, you said you had a question?
Yeah, I think did you guys have you guys seen my recent graphics here about, like I'm a little bit trying to understand I came a little bit late, so I'm trying to understand what this is about. Is this a check-in, or what are we doing exactly here? I'm a little confused. I'm sorry.
In the retrospective, actions to improve, and one of them was bringing more clarity to a step-by-step to Doocracy, like how to help everyone in the community feel like they have the agency to act. I think this what you said, Tim, is really important. Of like, the things need to be done. I'm capable of doing it. I'm gonna do it. I think it's related to what Nate was saying too, that maybe the challenge is how can I identify things that need to be done? I think it's having this first confidence of knowing that the things you identified are the things that should be pursued. Right? This might be the first challenge.
So I do wonder, I think I recommended in the past the liberating structure called What, So What, Now What, as a way of doing retrospective work. I don't know if that's appropriate now, but if we're doing a retrospective, this is a thing that I find to be really useful. So I don't know if that's helpful.
Yeah, I see that Jeremy just jumped in and he's been working with the liberating structures also, right?
Word. I lack context, but what's dope?
We're doing a retrospective, so I was,
Oh no, we're not
doing
it. Yeah, sorry, we're not doing a retrospective. We did a retrospective last week, and one of the actions to improve was providing a step-by-step to Doocracy, like understanding how to make people feel comfortable to take agency.
Yeah, thinking about structures that might help induce that. What, So What, Now What is a great reflective tool. So to like debrief or to retrospect. A more directed approach might be another structure called 15% solutions. 15% solutions invites people to think about, okay, based on the assets and resources that are currently available, what might be literally within your agency to do as far as taking the first step. So it really puts you in a tight frame, like, hey, you got no more resources, no more time, no more authority, but given what you got right now, what can you at least make an incremental step towards and take action? So that might be a nice invitation to slot in somewhere in the flow that you guys are discussing. Anybody else?
Yeah, that's great that you're having the the Liberating Structures workshop that's going. It's going to happen after this call, right? Nice. I'm sad I can't come, but I'm really stoked that that's happening. Cool. So I think we had a comprehensive discussion about this, and maybe there is already kind of a picture of where we at, some things that might be helpful. I think it's really important what you said, Teresa. Maybe that's the next step we can work on to like provide some guidance for like, okay, if I want to jump into something, what can I start with? And also what you were saying, Tim and Nate, of just bringing more awareness that people can do that. And then using some of these tools would be great that you guys are talking about. I just wanted to move to, we won't touch on this topic today because there's not enough time. Identifying key points of the cultural build that need to be communicated. But there was also something talking about how can we discuss and debate proposals, like our proposals in the awareness of everyone. Are people like feeling compelled to vote, to participate? And that's also part of the Doocracy, feeling this agency that I can go and make decisions and debate proposals. So one of the actions was create a gardens party where members can discuss and debate on current proposals within gardens. And I think this would be good for Snapshot too. So for example, in Snapshot, there's this proposal with 1 day left that I feel like maybe more clarity about this maybe we could have more clarity about this. So since we only have 1 day left, I invite everyone to go into the forum to see, to ask questions there. But then we could probably set up some sessions in the future to debate proposals, if anyone has ideas. But is it going to be after the proposal is resolved? Mm-hmm. Okay, that sounds good. And do you think we should have some type of ongoing process for like should we have ongoing parties for proposals, for debating the proposals?
I just wanted to share one other thing that came up out of that is that, this Thursday, the Stewards Council can be really specifically about laser tag and those fundings. But then it was also suggested that we reinstate the spotlight so that we can have a proposal that's up for vote highlighted every spotlight. So Juanca and Gravitas sort of was able to do, share the Gravity DAO proposal. And perhaps this Thursday we can have another proposal share their proposal. And that might be a second way that we could sort of get or one way that we could have focus on the proposals that are on at least conviction voting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that could we, if we do like this type of like proposal spotlight, could we do this in the middle of the community call when we're going over the garden's proposals? I know that we kind of brush it lightly, but I think incorporating, and making sure that the proposal creator has, sticks to the strict 5 minutes or whatever it may be, to pitch them their proposal would be really nice, instead of having it at the end and hoping they have time and hoping they don't, or whatever it may be.
But is the spotlight going to be about the proposal? No, about projects.
Ideally, projects that have submitted a proposal to conviction voting,
Mm.
so that are ready to be voted on, and if not, then maybe a proposal that's in the advice process on the forum.
Yeah, I guess my only concern is that we still run into the same problem we ran into last time, and I mean, like, as much as I would love to see, the proposal inverter to be explained within 15 minutes, I think that's going to be a very tall task, even if we do grant them that time.
Yeah. And how do we not come as biased also?
I think the person who submitted the proposal should just present the proposal, because they do have a bias, but they also are the person who is advocating for and will be responsible for the funding received. So I don't think we have to worry too much about a bias, unless you mean like who do we allow in the spotlight?
Yeah,
because that's giving them the platform, really.
yeah. Like, how wouldn't it be better if we had a moment just for all the proposals, like a proposal pitch type of call, where people come to see just what are the proposals up, how can I decide what I'm supporting, and something like that.
Yeah, I really like that idea too, especially if we have many proposals up at the same time. They're sort of being like, come and learn about the proposals on conviction voting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Zepka.
Yeah, I was going to say. Oh yeah, go ahead, Seti. Sorry. Well, I was going to say something in those same lines. I'm not necessarily opposing to having a space in a call or a new call to discuss, but I would rather see if there's a way that we can sort of um, improve the engagement in the forums, particularly for governance proposals, because I think being able to easily access the discussion, what's been discussed, the points that people brought up, without having to be tied to a meeting would be nice. Because there's already a lot of meetings here, and a lot of people are contributing to a few DAOs at the same time or whatever. And it's sometimes hard to keep track of everything when everything is on a meeting.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or like maybe try to have someone um, making some notes of the most important points and then putting them on the forum or whatever. I don't know, but yeah.
Maybe we could open space for proposals Q&As, and then if there is any question, all of the projects can come to answer questions, and then that could be easily transcribed to the forum, and it could be there.
Yeah, so another challenge with this is that, I don't see the amount of proposals being reduced in anytime in the near future. Like, I think that we're going to keep getting new proposals that are more complex and more difficult to understand, and a lot of people are going to be spreading out their votes, and things are going to get very difficult to pass, especially if we don't have voter participation, just because of the nature of conviction voting. And so we either need to really regulate, in a way, what proposals are up for vote, and or figure out a way to socially prioritize what needs to get funded and what doesn't. Because I just think conviction voting with the current parameter set that we have is going to continue to be very difficult to pass proposals in general. And so there are going to be a lot of outstanding proposals that need to be voted on, and a lot of begging people to participate. And so I'm not sure what we can do about that, but I do see it as a potential problem.
Okay, good question to end the meeting and have ideas and exercise Doocracy. Propose the ideas that we're thinking about. We can continue to chat in the Softgov chat as well. And thank you everybody for coming, and I really appreciate you all sharing. It was a very full call.